The National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons in the Office of the National Security Advisor has destroyed 1,316 illegal weapons in Abuja. The center says the development reaffirms the federal government's commitment to ending the proliferation of small arms and light weapons across the country. According to the center, over 13,000 unserviceable weapons have now been destroyed in 4 years.
To witness the destruction of decommissioned, unserviceable, as well as recovered, captured illicit small arms and light weapons, which have been mopped up through kinetic operations conducted by the military and other security agencies across the country. Today, a total quantity of 1,316 different types and calibers of small arms and light weapons will be destroyed by initial burning process and subsequently smelting of the remnants metal parts.
For more on this, former consultant to the Presidential Committee on Small Arms and Light Weapons, Darlington Omoro, joins me live on the news at this time. Good to have you join us. What do you make of this growing concern about proliferation of arms in the country, especially bearing in mind this latest action with the destruction of these illegal firearms?
Well, good afternoon, and thanks for having me. The proliferation of small arms and light weapons everywhere in the country is a very big challenge. I have often said in most of my analysis that what is fueling terrorism and banditry in Nigeria is basically the availability of small arms and light weapons in the hands of these non-state actors. And I have also often said that one of the solutions to curbing this proliferation of small arms and light weapons in Nigeria is what we have just seen. Aside from disarming some of these terrorists and bandits, what do we do with these small arms and light weapons that we recover from these non-state actors? We destroy them so that they don't recirculate. Now, if you recover these small arms and light weapons, and then you do not destroy them, there's that tendency that they will still find their ways back into the hands of these non-state actors. And it's not just enough burning them, like the DG for the National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons has said. What do you do with the metals after burning them? You smelt them. By that way, they would have been completely removed and that is the end of the destruction process of those small arms and light weapons.
Mr. Omoro,
it's a welcome development.
I hear you, but there are those who are of the view that perhaps some of these weapons could actually convert to positive use. What's your thoughts about that?
No. It does not work that way. If you have an idea of what is called armory management, every firearm or ammunition has a register and must be documented, and they must be within the expectation of whether the military or the intelligence agencies. And now there's what is also called the tracing ability, that provides codes on all of these firearms and ammunition. And so, first of what you need to do is when these firearms are recovered, you could want to do tracing first to know where these firearms actually came from. Tracing will give you an idea of where they were manufactured, who bought them from the manufacturer, the date, and the armory from where they were issued, and how it got to the hands of these non-state actors. Now, if those firearms, for instance, and ammunition were stolen from, say, Niger, and Niger government actually bought them, and then they are being used by these people, and then you now want to convert them into your own armory. It becomes a very big problem.
All right.
And so it's not as simple for non-experts who would think that, oh, rather than destroy them, because some of them are even more sophisticated than what our other intelligence agencies are carrying, or sometimes the military. But the truth is, no, it does not work that way, because if those people eventually keep tracing, and then those things are found within your armory, that you do not them.
Yes, I hear you on that. But then, with these recoveries and destructions, they sound like small victories. But regardless of these victories, we still get to see these firearms flooding the streets, flooding the society. What can we do to prevent, them coming in the first place?
What we need to do in the first instance, which I have mentioned even on this station as many times as possible, is to tighten our land borders. They also come through the seaports, the gateways. All our gateways are porous. That is why we have had issues with different presidents. Buhari did it, locked up our borders for a long time. This administration has done so now. Some borders have also been sealed. These are ways of checkmating all of this. Increase your scanners. Have modern scanners, adopt AI, artificial intelligence to police your borders and police those items, then concealment. You can also use your scanners to monitor concealment, to check concealment, to bring out these firearms. At times of politics, enough firearms are brought into this country, more than enough. And yet, they all go into the hands of the non-state actors. Beyond that, the terrorists, the bandits, they have a way of getting their own. Aside from those ones that come in, manufactured ones. So perhaps either the Sahel corridor or from our other neighbors, we also have the challenge of the blacksmith. In Nigeria, those of the local, I'm talking about the local manufacturers here now, that do not carry code, that cannot be traced. These ones, they have gotten even so sophisticated that sometimes you may not be able to differentiate between a local made firearm and the factory made that was imported into this country, or that were made from countries that are bordered by Nigeria. Of course, you know that 4 countries share borders with Nigeria.
Yes.
Particularly the Sahel food. That Sahel corridor has been so porous, such that most of these firearms come in, particularly from wars raging in those areas, and then the fall of Libya. Since the fall of Libya, we discovered that most of the firearms are small arms, small arms and light weapons. They often found their ways into Nigeria through that same Sahel corridor.
Yeah, so something really has to be done to keep our borders safe. Former consultant to the Presidential Committee on Small Arms and Light Weapons, Darlington Umoru, thank you very much for your time on TVC News at 1.
Thank you for having me. My pleasure being here.